My name is Gary Schwantes, and I'm a hypnotherapist, and I'm also a professional musician. My hypnotherapy practice, I have an office with my wife, who is an acupuncturist in Burlingame. And so we do acupuncture and hypnotherapy. There's also another acupuncturist in the office. But of course, that's all shut down right now. And that kind of brings me to this kind of leading into what's going on today. We're all kind of dealing with this in a different way. In my case, we've been very lucky in that we haven't had any sickness or anything that's impacted our immediate family. But I know that a lot of people are not that lucky. It certainly has impacted us, though, and I'm sure everybody here has a story about that. I stopped seeing clients in person back in February, late February, and so that office is just sitting there, and that has just been a major adjustment because that was something that we basically did during the working week. And then on the music side of things, whatever gigs I had have been canceled all the way out into the summer. So that's all gone. So that is, quite an adjustment. And I'm sure all of you are going through something similar. And then on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, in the background, there's this specter of sickness and death that's out there. And like I said, that hasn't affected me personally. It hasn't. Nobody in my immediate family has gotten sick or died, but it has come close. In other words, my parents are in their mid-90s. They're in a senior community up in Sacramento, and I am concerned about them. I can't get in to see them. They can't get out. That's a big concern. I had a niece who was at Mardi Gras in New Orleans. She came back and she had to self-isolate, but she's fine. So anyway, there's all that going on. And, some people will talk about it and say, oh, I just kind of block all that out. I don't look at the news. I don't think about it. I just do other stuff, which is fine. It's not good to obsess about this stuff, certainly. But it also doesn't really serve us that well to kind of hide from it either. So, we're kind of stuck in this in-between place. Anyway, a lot of the stuff that we're going to do today will help us deal with this. I will say that there are some really beautiful things that I've seen happening as a result of this. And it's just amazing. Some of the things I see, like the simplest things, like in my neighborhood, I see these families walking together. In some of the cases, I've never seen the whole family together. I may have seen the kid, I may have seen the wife or the husband separately, but I've never seen the whole family walking together like that. And it's just really kind of amazing to see the family sharing, in the middle of a weekday, sharing that experience together. I also have noticed that there's an increasing awareness about the importance of healthcare, that government needs to take a role in this, because there's some things that are just bigger than we can deal with our private health insurance. We need that extra help when something like this happens. So I think people have a real appreciation for that. Another thing that I think is really, really interesting is that before this happened, and with this, especially with this current president and everything, there was a growing fascination with these media, celebrity worship and infatuation with huge media personalities and all of this kind of stuff. But now, those things really can't give us what we need. It's the grocery clerks, it's the delivery people, It's the postman, the people that are driving the buses. These are the people that are delivering the stuff that we really need. And so there's a real appreciation for that. And then finally, I mean, the other thing, I mean, I could go on and on, but the other thing that really occurs to me is that we all now have a chance to, well, we have permission, but we're almost forced to kind of reinvent ourselves. Whatever we were doing before, a lot of those things that we were doing that defined us, our job, things like going to the meetup in person or just other activities that you do are suddenly taken away. It kind of challenges your identity, your sense of self. But on the other hand, it kind of gives you opportunity to come up with a new version of yourself. So, when you go re-enter, you have complete permission to do that. So I think that's actually kind of a really cool part of this. But anyway, so, there's some things that you can control. There's some things that you can't control. And I do think that we do much better when we focus on the things that we can control or influence. One of the things that we can influence is the experience that we create for ourselves every day. And we do create that experience every day. And so the things that I'm going to share with you right now are things with an eye towards that, with an eye towards the future, with an eye towards improving that experience that you can create. So my plan right now is to show you a set of three tools, very, very simple tools. As a matter of fact, I think of these as hypno widgets. They're little widgets. They're little tools that you can take, little processes that you can either use them together as a set, and I'm going to present them to you in a set, in a kind of a structure. And you can use them within that structure, or you can unplug the widgets and you can plug them into your hypnotherapy session, or you can just use them as standalone processes. They really don't require an hypnotic induction. That part of it is actually kind of built into the process itself. So now, the way I'm gonna show you these things, like I said, there was a structure. The structure is basically this. The first tool has to do with dealing with where we are right now, in the present moment, and just discovering that, really. Because a lot of times we kind of take our mind off of that. So discovering the present moment, where we are. The second tool deals with depotentiating or taking the charge out of one thing that's bothering you at this moment, one thing that you want to work on. And then the third tool has to do with creating a state that you want to be, your desired state. What is your target state? Where do you want to go? And then anchoring that in with a physical anchor. So it's a 1, 2, 3 process. Let's get started.